Hey, everybody. It's another Tuesday here recording in the on and off the field studio that we like to call social distancing recording studio number 1 because I'm in my bedroom. Fred is somewhere in his house with a laptop, and we are taking this seriously because if we leave the house, the cops will arrest us. They will put us in a chokehold and force us back in our houses. That's not true. How are you, Derf?
I am doing wonderful. How are you, Dylan?
I might be losing my mind.
Yeah.
I did get to leave the house today. I went down to the office today because I had to grab a cord that I forgot to grab before, and now my wireless mouse is dead.
Oh.
And it doesn't take batteries.
What?
I had to plug it in. Yeah, it's stupid. So I had to go get that. Yeah, like it's a USB, like you plug it into the laptop and then plug it into the mouse. Yeah.
Huh.
I love the mouse itself. It's a really good hand feel, but I hate how you have to charge it. Saves batteries, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But you are with On and Off the Field with Derf and Dylan. It is April 7th already. March finally came to an end, and we are now entering April. What an exciting time. It's beautiful outside. Spring is here, and On and Off the Field is ready to give you all of your NFL, XFL, and coronavirus information right here. So, get you started. Make sure you go to the social medias. Go to onandoffthefield.com. It's got all the links to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Give us a follow for the greatest memes and news updates. Everything that your heart desires. Also at onandoffthefield.com, you can read the blog, listen to the podcast, and get the links to the show on your favorite podcasting platforms. Also, I put a link on there so you can do Show of the Month for the RTF Sports Network. It'll take you there. All you got to do is go to onandoffthefield.com, scroll down a little bit, boom, bang, bada. Show of the Month link to vote for On and Off the Field. It's getting interesting over there. Twist is in the lead. But we've lost a lot of our votes because now Below the Mic has entered the race, and he has a big following over there of like 2,000 followers on his Facebook page. So it's looking bleak, but I know we can do this as a team. We can do it. I believe in our voters and our fans to do it. So while you're also at rtfsportsnetwork.com, scroll to the bottom of the homepage, put your email address in there to subscribe, and you'll automatically be entered to win the giveaway of 3 months of ESPN Plus just in time for the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance. The giveaway will end April 14th. So head over there right now and just get it out of the way. We won't spam you with emails from the Sports Network. It's like one email a week maybe. It's just keep you up to date with what's going on. So, our giveaway has ended, Derf. We just did that last week. It was a great time. It finally ended, and we contacted a couple people. We don't have a nickname yet for my mother-in-law, Jean. I haven't gotten that from her yet. I keep forgetting to ask her for the nickname. It's awkward when you're asking your mother-in-law for a nickname, but she's a cool person. I know she'll love it.
Yeah.
Cameron does want autographed football from us. I'm working that out. I'm trying to find like the perfect football for us to sign, and then we have to get it to him, which will be a coronavirus disaster. Genesee, drink it. There we go. Got that plug in there. Genesee beer. I should be more specific.
Yeah.
And then Chelsea won the charity. The grand prize charity picker, and she chose Feeding America. And they are in a rough time right now because everyone's going to food shelters. Everyone is trying to go to their food banks and stock up on food with these hard times hitting, people losing jobs, supermarkets getting closed or getting run out of supplies. Tough times. So donating to Feeding America so they can keep their stocks filled is just it was a great choice on her part to do that. So we have donated our $50, and if you go to feedingamerica.org, you can read all about Feeding America. And also On and Off the Field set up a fundraising page where we set a goal of $1,000, which would be 10,000 meals. And we're trying to hit that goal. I know we have almost 1,000 followers just on the RTF Sports Network alone. So that's $1 a person. Only $1. And we can hit our goal. So head on over there. I'll include the link to that. And let's make a difference. Because that's what the Off the Field is all about. I'm okay with dead air if it's taking a sip of beer. You guys can just live with it. What are you drinking? You got Genesee over there, right?
Not tonight. I got some Yingling tonight again.
Oh, that's right. I already forgot. We just talked about this.
Yeah,
because you said 12 horse.
Yeah, soon it will be back to the 12 horse. So I'll have to break into the reserve.
The reserve of 12 horse. That's months old. I mean, I thought I was almost out of Springbok, but then I remembered I have like a whole nother 18 pack or something sitting right next to my fridge. It's like, oh, crap. So much beer.
Oh.
I'm almost out of toilet paper, but I got all the beer I need. That's not a lie either. I am. We are running low.
It's coming back. I'll tell you that.
Wegmans has it stocked.
We're getting there.
Okay. Because I've been going to Walmart lately.
Oh yeah.
And they got none.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was there one time while they were restocking, and they blocked off the aisles so they could restock in peace. And I wasn't waiting to get ran over by people for toilet paper, so I left. But I guess I should have stayed because we got like 3 rolls left, maybe. It's getting it's getting scary.
It's getting dangerously low.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be one of those people standing outside of Wegmans the second they open in the morning. Sprint down to the toilet paper aisle. Yeah, it's gonna be awkward.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But speaking of all this scariness of coronavirus, I told people a while back this was going to be a coronavirus-free show because everyone wants to talk about it. Everyone's got it on their podcast. Everyone wants to talk about it. But I was listening to the Dan Patrick Show because that's my show. I listen to that almost on the daily for all 3 hours. I love it. Even in this time of no sports, they still find a way to keep it interesting. But they had a guy called Tony Baselli on the line. I don't know if you know who that is. That is former Jacksonville Jaguars All-Pro, ex-offensive lineman, and 5-time Pro Bowler. He's actually only one of 3 players since the 1970 merger to make 5 Pro Bowls and play less than 7 seasons. Yeah, so this guy was pretty good. The name kind of rings a bell, but I'm not entirely sure. But Tony Baselli, he was talking to Dan Patrick because he actually came down with the coronavirus a couple weeks ago, and he told his story. He was hanging out with a couple buddies early March, probably the beginning of this whole social distancing thing, but he was hanging out with a couple people, and they departed. A couple days later, he said he wasn't feeling that great. And then one of his buddies called him up and said, hey, we were hanging out with so-and-so. They just tested positive for coronavirus. He's like, that's not good. So he went and got tested, ended up testing positive, and he just went downhill hard. He ended up in the ICU for a couple days. He actually he said, with his own words, he thought he was going to die. All of the major symptoms that you hear of coronavirus he had, and he was in the ICU and thought he was going to die. It was bad. And Tony doesn't have pre-existing conditions. Tony is a pretty young guy. He's healthy. And he just got a bad strain of it and said he almost died. It's serious stuff. And it's terrifying to see on Facebook the people that think this is like some kind of conspiracy theory.
Right? Yeah.
It's the government trying to control us. You people, take your tinfoil hats off. All right. This is a virus. No matter how it got released or anything you want to come up with, doesn't matter. It's a thing that's happening, and you need to take it seriously.
Absolutely. And I mean, even in the sports world, I think besides just people getting tested with it, I think just we've lost a football player or a former football player in Tom Dempsey, who passed away after getting the coronavirus. He was most known for playing on the New Orleans Saints. Also known at he had the NFL record of longest field goal of 63 yards back in November of 1970, which back then, as compared to now, was absolutely unheard of. And just to kind of give you a sense of how rare that is that the 50-plus yard field goal percentage rate back in 1970 was less than 25% at 23%. So the fact that he was able to drill a 63-yarder, a game-winning 63-yarder to add you, back in 1970 is just insane. Little things to know about Tom Dempsey, though, also is that he actually had a club foot on, so he had no toes on his right foot, as well as no fingers on his right hand. So he actually had a special shoe. I believe he kicked with that foot. So he actually had a square front shoe in order to kick. So imagine kicking with just like a block on your foot, basically, and making a 63-yarder is pretty impressive. So I think
I love that.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know he did. I didn't know he had a club foot when I first heard that he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw Tom Dempsey, and I knew about the NFL record because the NFL record was broke a couple of years back. Mm-hmm. And then I started talking about, I started seeing posts on Facebook and Instagram about him having the club foot. I was like, that's just bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, how do you kick with a club foot? It's like, yeah, he had a shoe, or it just cut off where his toes would be. It's like,
right. Yeah.
Like kickers these days kick with the side of his foot. I don't know if he kicked with the side of his foot or if he just kicked it like straight on ahead with his shoe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he was a straight on kicker, which a lot of them were back in the day.
Right.
It wasn't until I think the 80s or 90s when they really started to adapt to the soccer style kick.
That's probably why they're at 23%,
right?
50+ yard field goal rate.
He actually does still have the tied record for game-winning 63 yards at game-winning field goal of 63 yards, but I believe just in general kicking NFL record, I believe it's held by kicker on the Broncos.
Is it still Prater?
I want to say it's still Prater.
Prater, and I think Janikowski broke it initially. At least I'm pretty sure. So either they both have the record or Prater broke it.
Yeah.
On his own again. NFL field goal record distance. We are researching this. 64 yards by Matt Prater. It was 63 was Janikowski and Akers, Gano, Elam, and Tom Dempsey. So 64 is held by Matt Prater alone. Very impressive feat from Tom Dempsey, though, especially back in that age. And just stay home. Fred's staying home. I'm staying home. It's so easy. Well, Fred's an essential employee, so he goes to work, but he doesn't have a choice.
So,
no big deal. I'm just essential. Just don't worry about it. And And shout out to all of our actually very essential people, all the people in the medical profession, and everyone has to go out and keep everything moving in this world. So Fred, thank you.
You are
And
welcome.
we're going to take our first break, and we're going to come back and do some NFL. Be right back. And welcome back to Derf and Dylan on and off the field, or on and off the field with Derf and Dylan. That's probably the proper way to say that.
Yeah, there
But
you go.
we're going to hit some, yeah, you knew what I was saying. Just got a little bit of NFL news for you. Not too much, because we want to get to our main segment, which is a cool segment that we're going to be starting on a weekly basis. Really excited to get that started. But first, we're going to hit the New England Patriots. Constantly in the news this offseason because everyone is wondering, like, what are they going to be? Is Bill Belichick going to be able to keep this team together? They lost a bunch of pieces on defense, especially the linebacker position. Like, the offense doesn't have Tom Brady, and it doesn't have a lot of talent in general. I mean, they might have something in their running backs. James White is obviously a monster. They have Edelman, but he's aging. And then they had their rookie wide receiver who they thought was going to be more than he was. He never really broke out last year. It's just a bunch of question marks. And now the big question mark is who's going to be the new quarterback to follow up Tom Brady. Well, it's not going to be Cody Kessler because they just cut him. I think I was discussing this with Derf, and neither of us know when he was cut. I feel like this was like a bad dream or something. And but I think it did. I'm pretty sure it happened.
Yeah.
It either happened last night or Monday during the day, something like that. But they do like Stidham. A bunch of teammates on the Patriots said they like Jarrett Stidham. They have him to lean on right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they're drafting a quarterback.
Oh, absolutely.
This is not going to be a Cody Kessler, Brian Hoyer, Jarrett Stidham competition. This is going to be Stidham against whoever they draft.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be Joe Burrow. Kind of got a list here of the top 10. They're not going to get their hands on Joe Burrow. No one is except the Bengals. Right. Tua Tagovailoa. Hey, we did it. He's going to be gone. There's a lot of questions whether the Dolphins might have to move up to get him, blah, blah, blah. Someone's going to take him in the top 5. Justin Herbert at number 3 and Jordan Love. They're two guys that could be going in the top 10, maybe. It's going to be talent that's going to be out the door really quick. Where the questions arise is how long Jalen Hurts is going to be there. Will he drop to the second round? Could that be someone Bill Belichick is interested in? Jacob Eason from Washington, transferred from Georgia initially, had a great couple of years out there in Washington. He's 6'6", 231, big, tall guy like Tom Brady. He might be something third round that Bill Belichick might be interested in. Jake Fromm, a little shorter, sitting with Georgia. He was okay at times. He was terrible at times. He was good at times. That's probably why he's lower on the list. And then you got James Morgan, FIU, Anthony Gordon of Washington State, and Nate Stanley from Iowa. You never know. You never know what Bill Belichick is going to want because he took Tom Brady with the 199th overall pick. So maybe he's interested in Nate Stanley from Iowa, who never completed 60% of his passes in the season in college. Maybe he's interested. Maybe he likes him anyways. Who knows? Nobody can get in the mind of Bill Belichick. You can make up all the anything you want about what he might be thinking, but nobody truly knows. But one of those quarterbacks on that list, I can almost guarantee, will be a Patriot by the end of the draft. Oh, boy. It's official. I'm sad, Derf. I'm sad.
Yeah, you're sad.
I am. I'm a little sad. I'm kind of happy it's over, though.
Yeah.
It's now been said that Jadeveon Clowney becoming a Seahawk again is very unlikely.
Oh.
Yeah.
It is sad.
He reduced his own price from $20 million a season to $17 to $18 a season. The Seahawks were rumored to offer him something that was laughable. Oh. And now people are saying it's it's a marriage that's not meant to be any longer.
Yeah.
So we got teams like the Titans and the Jets and probably the Vikings who are very interested in Clowney. I'm sure they are more than ready to offer him 17, 18 mil a season. I know the Seahawks, as a fan, they do not have the cap space as of right now to hang on to him at 17, 18 for this season. That's probably why they offered him what they did.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But the Seahawks, as stated last week, Everson Griffin is a favorite to land with the Seahawks. So it would still be a veteran presence on the edge and probably one that gets injured less, if I'm not mistaken.
That's always good.
Yeah, it's a saga that will finally come to an end. And now that we look at it long term, what Clowney was actually able to produce in Seattle, Bill O'Brien might have won that trade.
Yeah.
Maybe. He got a lot of pieces for it. He got a couple of young talents over there, Barkevius Mingo and somebody else. And we got Clowney, and he got 3 sacks last year. Lots of pressure, but only 3 sacks. And constant injury. No.
Yeah, I really don't see him getting that 17, 18 million just based on stats. I think it's going to be I think people are still going to grasp onto the potential that he brings, but how many years has it been now since he was drafted where he's just been constantly injured and just couldn't get through a whole season, and it's, I don't know.
It was just watching him over in Houston, it was like J.J. Watt gets injured. All right, Clowney needs to step up. Oh, he's injured now too.
There he goes.
Yeah. Now we need some other random person to step up. It'll be Whitney Merciless. He's injured now. And his injuries followed him to Seattle, and unfortunately, we won't see him healthy in a Seahawks uniform as far as I am seeing right now. I would love to be pleasantly surprised, but I don't see it. Yeah. One more little free agent bit that I just found interesting was Aldon Smith is still in the NFL. Raise your hand if you knew Aldon Smith was still in the NFL.
My hand is not raised, so.
Your hand is not raised. It's not surprising because when I saw that Aldon Smith was heading to the Cowboys from the Raiders, I was legitimately stunned. I was like, wait, Aldon Smith is not in the NFL, right? If you need a reminder, Aldon Smith was with the 49ers, and he was a beast. Just a huge-bodied freak. And then he played, 2 seasons, maybe 2012, 2013, and then the trouble happened. He got in a DUI. He got found with marijuana. And then when he was on parole or whatever you might want to call it, they searched his home because there was partying going on. He had illegal guns and drugs in his home. And then after that, he got in a hit and run. And then he went to the airport and said, I'm going to blow this place up. And a fake bomb threat in an airport. It was just endless chaos with this guy.
Wow.
And he hasn't played since 2015. He's been on a roster. He's been on a team, but just kind of exemption list stuff and blah, whatever. But he is still in the league apparently, and now he will go to the Cowboys. Unreal.
That is absolutely unreal.
I could have swore this guy just went off the jail and we never heard of him again. I had no idea he was even considered possibly still in the league.
Right.
Unbelievable. So he is still there. He is going to be a Cowboy. He's going to join all of the fun personalities that the Cowboys are famous for having on their rosters, along with Dak Prescott and his still not signed long-term deals, Ezekiel Elliott and his egregious deal, and now Amari Cooper with his $100 million deal, and Rex Ryan called Amari Cooper a turd. That is a thing that was said.
Oh,
yeah. Rex Ryan said, "I would not have paid that turd on television." It's a thing. Unreal. Rex Ryan, even when he's not coaching, he can still be a lot of fun. So we are going to start a segment where every week we're going to do a breakdown of a division of every team in that division. Basically just kind of let's see where they're at right now. We'll see how they did last year. And the best part of this is we are getting fans from every team, and we're going to have them come on the show, and let's get their feeling. Someone that really is in that team, a follower of that team, hardcore, like, yeah, that's my team. I follow them. I talk about them. I know exactly everything that's going on. We're going to get their opinion on their team, and we're going to get an in-depth breakdown of each team in each division. So this first week of fun on April 7th, 2020, we are breaking down the AFC East. Yeah! We had to start there.
Oh,
you know why we had to start there? 1, Tom Brady's no longer a Patriot. 2, the Dolphins that tanked last year have made a bunch of moves. The Jets are kind of still the Jets, but the Bills are also making moves this season. And we have a major Bills fan right here. So we are going to start off this brand new week-by-week segment breaking down the AFC East with co-host of On and Off the Field, Fred Derf Peterson. Fred, how did you feel about last season and the end of the season? You were 10-6. Mm-hmm. You made it to the playoffs 2 out of the last 3 years with McDermott. Just how do you feel right now with how everything ended and just like last season to give you a hope? What happened?
I mean, the last game of the season I'm still a little bit sour about, but I'll get over it eventually. I really think in a season in general, though, like the beginning of the season started out a little rough. I mean, we were still winning, but you could clearly tell we were winning by kind of luck there a little bit. But I mean, towards the end of the season, though, you could just really tell the Bills were heading in the right direction. Things were really starting to click with a lot of the new additions like John Brown and Cole Beasley. They were just like really starting to click on that offense. Later in the season, they finally got Singletary moving. And that's where I really feel like the Bills are probably only a couple plays away from potentially taking the AFC East.
I felt like that was a big moment was when they got Singletary going.
Right. Definitely.
I was screaming for him for the first part of the season. It's like every time Gore ran the ball, nothing happened. Every time Singletary touched the ball, it felt like it was a big play. But they were only giving the ball 7-8 times. It was absolutely insane. And then once they started giving him the ball, making him a focus point on that offense, I felt like where the offense really turned around. So in the off season, I feel like I know the answer to this, but what was your favorite off-season move so far by the Buffalo Bills?
Well,
yeah, I know.
No surprise here. Favorite has to be the Stephon Diggs trade. I mean,
it's not Josh Norman?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. Tell me about Stephon Diggs.
Oh, he's just gonna be that premier wide receiver the Bills need right now to help Josh Allen progress more. I mean, even more than what he did last year. A lot of people point at the Bills saying that they gave up a lot for the Stephon Diggs trade. It's really not a lot. It's a net of only 2 draft picks, a first round this year and a 4th round last year, like I said on previous weeks. But I like that they're using that first round pick giving that to the Vikings for Stephon Diggs, because they know how good of a receiver he is, and they're not going to have to wait for that rookie wide receiver to develop. So they know that they're going to get that instant talent at the beginning of the season. Not to say that rookie wide receivers don't blow up onto the scene and play really well, but we know with Stephon Diggs, he's just going to be really good for this team and really help open up this offense.
Yeah, not every team can get a DK Metcalf in their first, right out of the bat and just draft that well.
Yeah.
All right, we kind of teased everybody with the start of this segment, but we got to take a quick break for our midway point of the show. We're going to come back. We're going to finish very strong with 3 amazing guests, and Derf will finish up his Bills recap and future look for the 2020 season of the Bills. Be right back with On and Off the Field. And welcome back with Derf and Dylan on and off the field. I think I said it right that time. So we're finishing up here talking about the Bills with our co-host Derf, who is a Bills fanatic, Bills Mafia hardcore kind of guy. Have you ever jumped through a table?
I have not, but that might be something in the future here. So
I feel like every Bills Mafia Bills fan has to at least do it once.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like jump from a 2-story building, but jump off the back of your truck, kind of just,
there you go.
Yeah. We'll have an ice pack ready to go. So we talked about last year a little bit, and then we talked about the Stephon Diggs trade, how they acquired a superstar basically for their first round pick instead of, a wide receiver that you hope develops in the NFL. So it really is a trade that the Bills, that you and I both think won that trade. What about your least favorite move from the offseason? There's something that you just kind of like, why did they do that?
Yeah, so definitely my least favorite move by the Bills this offseason is re-signing cornerback E.J. Gaines for the third time.
It's got to work one of these times, right?
Like, is third time the charm really a thing we're going to do in the NFL with a corner? Like, he's often injured, and clearly that's probably one of the reasons why they let him go the first two times. Like, I like the
maybe he's healthy this time.
How long does healthy stay when you're often injured, though?
True.
So that's probably my least favorite. He played okay for us a couple years ago, besides getting hurt. But yeah, I mean, for being a least favorite, it's not really terrible of a signing. Like, they've surprisingly done pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a name that people normally recognize. It's not a name that you're like, I have no idea who that is.
Right.
He has come up a few times, but the injury history is kind of stacked against him, like you said. So with all that kind of put together, heading into the next season, how are you feeling?
I am feeling ecstatic about this next season. I feel like this is absolutely the Bills' time to shine, not only in the AFC East, but along with a lot of the other big teams in the AFC. And as much of a splash that this Diggs trade made in the media for the Bills, they seriously, like, very sneakily fortified that defense to make them even better, even with the pieces that they lost at the beginning of free agency. And I think the biggest test, even with Tom Brady gone, like, the Bills have to beat the Patriots and a lot more above 500 teams. That would be my considered them taking the next step.
Yeah, I feel like even if Tom Brady's not there, granted, Bill Belichick will still be there. It'll be a less powerful Patriots team, but at what point, it's just kind of the hump. Yeah. Are you still scared by the Patriots? Are you still going to that game kind of worried that, man, we never beat them? Like, it's just that lingering effect that maybe the post-era Tom Brady Patriots might get in the Bills' heads. We'll see what happens down the road, but yeah, if the Bills are going to take a season and really go deep into the playoffs, you feel like this should be a year to do that.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait to see the schedule layout coming here with the beginning of May, I believe.
Yeah, May 9th.
May 9th, to see how their schedule kind of plays out. We're definitely going to do a show on the schedule at some point. It's going to be interesting to look into that. So, as you're where are you projecting right now? You know who their opponents are at the very least.
Right,
what do you got for a record?
So I'm gonna go on record here saying that the Bills are going to go 11-5 based on their home and away opponents, and winner of the AFC East.
Winner of the AFC East. There you have it, folks. You have your AFC East winners here already. We have 3 other teams to cover for the AFC East, but you don't have to worry about who's going to win it. The Bills have it locked down according to Fred. We'll see what happens. So we're gonna bring on our first guest. He is a Miami Dolphins fan. We're gonna bring him on the line right here shortly, and we have Paul Guarino, the founder of PG Sports and the Average to Savage podcast. Paul, how are you doing today? Say your name right.
Yeah, you got it. You nailed it right there.
No, I used to work with a guy that has the same last name. Derf actually still works with him. But
oh gosh, that's dope.
So he's a Miami Dolphins fan, and we trashed the Dolphins last season, and I'm sure you understand. But they ended with a 5-11 record. They showed some spunk, and it seems like Brian Flores might be the right man for the job. How do you feel about last season?
Yeah, probably almost like every other season of past. It's always like up and downs. This year was probably worse than usual, but usually I feel like they usually get around 500. But yeah, it's always tough to be a Dolphins fan. I think the last time in the playoffs was 2008.
Oh,
I know that's when they won the AFC East, and that's the last time somebody won the AFC East besides the Patriots.
Well, the time might be coming again with Tom Brady leaving, so it seems like it's kind of up in the air. Maybe you never know.
Yeah, I saw a meme, and they were like, Ryan Fitzpatrick, best quarterback in the AFC East right now.
I love me some Fitz magic, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure.
I loved it when he came out wearing Deshaun Jackson's gear there. That picture is just, I should get that hung up on my wall.
Yeah. That's legendary.
So if we kind of let's forget about 2019. We know what the Dolphins did. They tanked. They got a bunch of draft picks. They have a bunch of cap space. Now we're in the off season. It's a new season, ready to rock and roll. From my perspective, it seems like they're making moves. They're doing what they need to be doing. We haven't even gotten to the draft yet, and they have 14 picks to plow through, a bunch of first rounders. It seems like it's going to be a great offseason if done properly. How you feeling so far?
Yeah, I'm just hoping they got to probably draft a quarterback and he does well. So that would be something. I think what also hurts for, I'm sure, Dolphins fans is Ryan Tannehill pretty much killed it for the Titans last year. So that was kind of a little dagger, I guess you'd say. But yeah, hopefully in the draft they get some quarterbacks, maybe a couple, maybe a running back, maybe a wide receiver, maybe everything.
It seems like the Dolphins have a lot of spots to fill. That's for sure.
That's what I'm saying. With the 14 picks, they could pretty much get everything.
Yeah, and with I think 3 of them coming in the first round, a bunch of their offseason additions here in free agency have been either offensive line or defense. It seems to be, and it seems like they got a lot of veteran presence there now. And I feel like they're leaving the rest of their offense up to the young guns, like you said, drafting a quarterback, maybe Tua. If they love somebody else, like I know they've got some headway on Jordan Love or Justin Herbert might be sneaking up. Who knows what's going to happen there? But with those other picks, you got wide receivers. Obviously, a very heavy wide receiver draft. Maybe leaving those playmaker positions up to a younger crowd and hoping it works out.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think it was Maurice Jones-Drew. His mock draft, and he had Joe Burrow somehow falling to the Dolphins, which would be pretty crazy. But I don't think that's happening.
I think anyone with half a brain would say that's probably not happening. It's fun if you're on a big platform to have hot takes, but I know that's what people love doing, but we don't really do that here on the field. We like to keep a level head.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the more realistic, obviously, is Tua. So I mean, that'd be cool too.
Yeah, he says he's healthy, even if he's not. Go ahead and sit behind Fitzmagic. Just get healthy, get ready to rock and roll, and just be ready to play maybe another year from now. It would definitely be a likely possibility for them.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly what their plan is, but I'm assuming they're probably not expecting to probably make the playoffs this year. Probably that would be like a icing on the cake. But I think it's more maybe probably like a 3-year plan, 4-year plan.
Yeah, that would kind of bring me to my other question: is your feelings heading into this coming season? I guess that kind of tackles that question. At least, so if this season might be another loss, just kind of a season to get everyone configured to the Miami Dolphins headset. When do you think they might be ready? You say 3-4 year plan. Does that kind of play into Tua?
Well, especially with Tom Brady leaving, I could definitely see them like winning and like going to the playoffs in what is it? 2021 season.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very fun division to watch overall, because with Josh Allen sitting there with the Bills, a kind of a younger guy. Same thing with Sam Darnold. Dolphins are bringing in their young gun. I'm sure the Patriots are now on the same boat as the Dolphins. They're going to be trying to draft maybe their future if they don't go with Stidham. It's a fun division and a young division. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to watch moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think like you said, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be pretty open. I mean, Josh Allen's really good. I think probably the Bills. I think they would have to be the favorite right now for 2020. Yeah,
we just Fred is a Bills fan, and he did his recap he answered my questions for the Bills, and he called it. He said AFC East division winners for 2020. So I'm sure he's happy to hear that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the Jets, I don't really see winning, and then the Patriots, who knows at this point.
Yeah, I feel like they're both kind of rebuilding, maybe along there with the Dolphins.
Yeah, who do you guys think the Patriots are going to get?
Ooh, we went through the list, and I'm kind of leaning towards Jalen Hurts. If Bill wants to make a move on a guy, I don't know why. I've heard a lot of spunk with the Patriots heading towards him. So you never know. He could definitely go for anybody.
Yeah, I like Jalen Hurts a lot, actually.
And Derf says Jacob Eason from Washington.
Okay.
Which is another good option. He's a good pocket passer. Definitely somebody that could go 3rd, 4th round even. And Bill loves taking quarterbacks late, obviously, with Brady being 199.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Paul. Well, thank you very much for coming on and answering our Dolphins questions.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that's Paul Guarino, the founder of PG Sports and the Average to Savage podcast. Anywhere they can find you, Paul?
Yeah, my Twitter and Instagram handle is just at PG Sports.
There you go. Thank you very much again, and hopefully the Dolphins have a better season than you might predict.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, and that was Paul for the Dolphins. So next up on the slate, we're going to be talking New England Patriots with probably one of the longest standing New England Patriot fans that I know to this point. This is going to be Kashiz Flow CEO, Final Impression Graphics and Productionz, Street Mag 1K artist, and former House of Eric B. Media, Cash In podcast show, now upcoming host to Urban Flow TV podcast show from New Bedford, Massachusetts. What is going on, man?
Yeah, this is Kashiz Flow from New Bedford. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. I'm surviving. I'm doing a podcast. There's no actual sports, but we're making the most of it.
Yeah, the sports have been stopped because of this COVID, but yeah.
Yeah, we're just fighting through and still having as much fun as we can.
Yeah.
So I said you're a Patriots fan, and I know it has been an emotional offseason, but first we'll take a little trip down memory lane. for the last season of Tom Brady. How'd you feel after last year, at least? Did, end on a high note, end on a low note? Just overall, how'd you feel about it?
I think the Patriots, no matter if they win, lose, whatever, they're an amazing team. I'm a little upset that they let go of Brady, though. But it's a very humble team, and there had to have been a reason why Brady left. Maybe because his wife probably lives closer to that area, or she's from that area, and she's not used to cold. wasn't affecting her in the right way. But the thing that I see, I also worked for Gillette at one point under a subcontractor that we used to clean up the whole stadium at night after games, and it was amazing just to see the stadium and to see the in and outs of it in places that some people don't normally get to see. Amazing, and it's also a lot of trash that we have to pick up.
I mean, I'm sure that stadium, I've been there once, at least on the outside of it. And if the inside of it is as nice as you say, I mean, I feel like that's a good free agent attractant, just having a nice facility.
Yeah. But I don't know about this new quarterback that they have on the screen. He don't seem like no Brady, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what he's about. See, I've skimmed in and out of this season. When I first started watching the Patriots was like around Bledsoe time, and I've been a fan ever since. I remember Curtis Martin before he went over to the Jets. I remember a lot of different people. I remember Terry Glenn before they kicked him out because of abuse situations. A lot of different types of things. But I just know that I've loved the Patriots since I was a kid. I grew up as a Patriots fan. Never will say I'm a fan of anybody else.
So even with Jarrett Stidham or whoever they might draft to come in to replace Tom Brady, no matter what, Patriots till you die, huh?
Patriots to the day I die. Because you know what? Like, let me tell you something. The Patriots just sent one of their planes out to get our medical stuff for out here. So, like, I just know that, Brady, I appreciate what you did for us in New England. Whatever your decision was, I accept it because you've done a lot for us. Some people might feel differently about the situation. Like, why did he leave? He's a traitor. No. He gave us 20-something years, under the team. He did a lot. He gave us 6 championships. 6 championships. So why nobody should complain. If he decides he wants to go somewhere else before he retires, think about Doug Flutie.
Yeah.
He went to Buffalo, came back, and all that. It's just.
I know. Yeah, we talked about Tom Brady for sure. They lost a couple other pieces to free agency on defense. They were able to keep Devin McCourty and Matthew Slater, bringing a couple guys back. Besides Tom Brady, just overall heading into next year, how you feeling about the 2020 season?
See, I'm gonna be just like man, I'm having a moment right here. I'm gonna be just like our coach. We're gonna see when it happens. We're not gonna worry about it till it happens, because if we worry about it ahead of time, it's just gonna bring it. I'm a very, very humble person. I've learned a lot about being humble by that coach of the Patriots.
Yeah, that's probably why they've made it to multiple championships and have 6 rings, is his coaching style, being able to keep everyone focused on football and on them as a team, and their logo or their slogan there, do your job. Yeah. It's definitely a Bill Belichick trait, and it's definitely trickled down to fans being just being a championship mentality, no matter the circumstances. So thanks for being with us on and off the field and talking about the Patriots. So you want to let people know where they can find you? Got a link or social media?
Yeah, Street Mag 1 stands the Mag 1. I don't remember because it's my brother's record label he was signed. He got in a little trouble, but he's getting out of that. So I took over the label for him. It's called Street Magic. And the MAG1K stands for Making All Genres One Kind. So it's Street Magic Entertainment. You can also find me under Final Impression Graphikz and Productionz. That's Final Impression Graphikz with a KZ at the end instead of a CS, and Productionz with an NZ at the end. And we do flyers and all that stuff. We do it e-commerce and everything, and we have PayPal, Cash App, everything. All
righty, man. Well, thank you very much again for being on the show, and if we ever have more Patriots to talk about, we know who to call.
Yes.
Alrighty, and that was our New England Patriots recap, and looking forward into the next season with a Tom Brady-less Patriots. Gonna be weird. But now we have Billy Newcomb. He's a Jets super fan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No podcast or anything. He's just here to talk some Jets.
Absolutely. Maybe a podcast in the future. Stay tuned, but go Jets for sure.
Yeah, if you ever get that podcast going, let us know.
I certainly will.
Yeah, we'll be here to support you. Baseball or football, whatever it might be, we're here for you.
Appreciate that.
So the Jets last year, it kind of just felt like a Jets season. I think of the Jets, and I see dumpster fires. They still made it to 7-9. But obviously we had, Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. We got mono. Adam Gase, his eyes are bugging out during an interview. It just kind of seemed like it didn't come together, and it's a little bit of a mess. How did you feel about last season?
I just felt like it all came apart right in front of our eyes. Everyone had high expectations for Sam Darnold coming out of college. I thought that it would take him a few years to get used to it. People don't give New England defense the credit that they really deserve. We play them twice a year, sometimes even 3 times. But, it just crumbled down, and it was a tough year. But I think growing pains for sure. There's a couple head cases on the field, like always, any organization. But overall, I was pretty content with the season going forward with what talent we had on the field.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the talent is there. It's just a matter of being unlocked. Unfortunately, Robbie Anderson is no longer there, but there has been a lot of offensive line free agent signings trying to improve that and maybe get Le'Veon Bell more involved next season. How do you feel about the offseason and kind of how they're addressing their needs?
Robbie Anderson's a good player, but his head's not in the game. He's had countless problems off the field. I like, letting him go his separate ways. If I'm looking forward to the off season, we need a receiver to, complement Jamison Crowder. I honestly like the fact that Le'Veon Bell is getting more attention. I think he's going to be a big trade piece at the deadline this coming season, and I'd like to see them move him before he has no value to another organization potentially.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age. It's always, you don't want to pay a running back too much when they get up there, and that seems to be an issue around the league these days. It's just a matter if a team's smart enough to move on when it's time yet or not. So yeah, we'll see what happens next year with Bell. See if he maybe makes himself worth it this year or not. But heading into the 2020 season, what do you want to see? Even if it might not all come together this year, if you have like medium high hopes. Just what do you want to see out of this team?
My expectations are low again, but I want to see a 500 team. I want to see what Janoris Jenkins still has left in the tank. I want to see what Brashard Perriman can bring to the team. I just want to see a team that comes together as a unit and Sam Darnold progress. The offensive line is bad. We are going to have to, pick up some offensive linemen in the draft for sure. But I just want to see a coach with a defensive mindset, back to the old Rex Ryan days when we made the playoffs. I just want to see it start from defensively, then, focus and fine tune the offense.
You got a great starting piece on defense with Jamal Adams. And in my opinion, I love watching him fly around the field. I know some people might have differing opinions, but I feel like he's a great young safety back there that really is a good piece to build around.
He is. He's a great athlete, and he's a leader on and off the field too. Robbie Anderson had all the talent in the world, but you can't trust a guy, even Le'Veon Bell to an extent, with a prior rep sheet, aka football terms, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's probably why the Killer Bees kind of fell apart in Pittsburgh, was a couple of personality issues, if I recollect correctly from what happened back there.
Yeah, it was some personality issues. I know there was a big thing with, marijuana with Bell and Blunt, but ironically enough.
You're right.
But, we just got to look forward to what we can do. I want a mindset going forward for the next 3 to 4 years. And I feel like our general manager and just our whole team has been playing it, just get through the year and move on, which, for a team that needs to rebuild and move forward, that's not really the mindset you need.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think it'll be a fun division to watch if the Jets can get on board and kind of getting more of the rebuild for the next 1-2 years and be ready to go. But overall, just the AFC East in general, it's going to get younger with the Dolphins drafting a quarterback. The Patriots will most likely draft a quarterback. Josh Allen has been in the league same time as Sam Darnold has. It's just a young, fun division to watch, in my opinion. I think it's just going to be great to watch for the next couple of years, heading down the road, maybe the next decade.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be interesting. When you think quarterbacks for the future, I don't know what the New England Patriots are really thinking, short term, but they're going to have to find someone and rebuild. You only get one Tom Brady every lifetime if you really think about it. So it's going to be a challenge for them, but the Bills are looking really solid in my mind anyway.
Yeah, that's what our Bills expert said. It says it's a Bills year for 2020. We'll see what happens.
If the wheels don't fall off, Bills fans, you either love them or you hate them, but they have all the pieces there if they can all put it together.
They most certainly do by the looks of it on paper. But I appreciate you coming on the show, giving us some insight on the Jets. I really appreciate it. So thank you again. And if we ever have more Jets talk and you get that podcast up and running, we will definitely talk again.
Absolutely. I appreciate you taking the call and getting my name out there. And I'll certainly keep you guys in touch. I do have a Twitter page at bnewcomb2 if you want to follow that. And eventually the podcast will be up. It might not be right away, but it's certainly in the works.
Awesome. Thank you again.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
That was a great Jets interview from Billy Newcomb there. So really appreciated his comments on the Jets. But that's our AFC East recap for this episode of On and Off the Field. It seems like the consensus might be leaning towards the Bills as far as I can tell there, Derf.
Yeah, definitely. It was kind of nice to hear all those other guests that we had on and just see that they kind of recognized it a lot there. As a Bills fan, I still see the Patriots being the team to beat, but it's always good to see the other aspect from the rest of the fans and other teams in the NFL, and just see that they see the Bills growing and have that respect for them, and I can't wait to see what this season brings.
It's going to be a great season, and like I said multiple times, just a future for the AFC East, getting younger, new quarterbacks, new everything, just youth, and I think it's going to be a very exciting division moving forward. That's all the time we got for On and Off the Field. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed our guests. I'll include all of their information so you can find them if you want to find them for their social media or anything like that. And as always, Derf,
all hail the jockstrap king.